Mike Downing of BEARPOP Comics, also of the Kickback Lounge. Okay, so I got a comic haul today, but today's comic haul, I have a couple of physicals, but I'm not going to get into them yet. I want to show you guys. I'm trying to make sure I got all my stuff with me. Okay, so today we're going to get into some digital copies of books that I have. I have a couple of physicals that I want to talk about. These two here, which I started reading both of these, and I'm going to get into that a little later. This one over here is Arc of Night. I have a copy without the trade dress cover, which is just a good book. It's a good book. Batman. I love my Batman. We have Battle Beast, and I'm gonna get into this a little bit later. Batman Detective Comics from the New 52. This is Volume 4 of The Wrath. I haven't read this yet, but I'm going to get into this a little later also. But I want to check out the art. So everybody, if you've been in the comic books for a long time, let's pull this light back because I want you guys to see this clearly. Somebody would know what this is. Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. And this is number 19. Now, this was a magazine that came out in the 70s, about 70, I want to say 74, maybe even 73. 73. This particular issue came out 74. And to buy these in the way they, like in a hardback or a physical form, not a hardback, a physical form, the original book can range you anywhere from, you might pay 25 to 30 one copy, a good, probably a mid-grade acceptable copy. But you can go way over that because these books are very rare. You can go up to probably about 100 or maybe more. So I had got this issue when I was a kid, because there's a friend of mine next door that turned me on to comic books, and I think he gave me this one. He had an extra one, but I was a kid, so I let it go, of course. But I thought about it over the years, so I was on a humbug because I'm starting to like this Kindle device. So I just put that number in, and they had this whole issue for $1.99. Now, I even asked my man John, the comic guy, if he had any Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. He said, Mike, I haven't come across them. They're kind of rare, but when I do, I'll let you know. But I know that they're going to be a little pricey because these are hard to find. But I got it for $1.99. So let's take a look at it. The pages inside the digital book is everything that I remember when I was a kid. I'm going to go as close as I can to you so you guys can see it. They have even the content page. They got the little articles in here. And they have, well, come on, anything that like article-wise or what the editors wrote and everything, they have it in this book. And this was a Iron Fist story, I believe it was called Birds of Fire, and I remember reading this when I was a kid, and I forgot who did the art, but the art was, let's look and see who did the art, excuse me for a minute. The art is by Rudy Nerbez. I think I said his name right. The guy is excellent. He has a, I think he did some issues of the Son of Satan, I'm not sure, but I didn't mess with that book too much. A little too scary for me. Plus, coming from a Christian household, I didn't bother with that. But I did sneak and see a couple of copies of, those issues, and I think I remember seeing his art in there. But the great thing about these books, these digital books, are you get all this for $1.99. This is the actual book, just printed in digital form. It didn't miss a page. It didn't skip anything. And the great thing about it was I was reading it. Other than smelling the pages, it took me back to when I was a kid, and I went and told my wife, "Honey, I got this for $1," and she just smiled, but she don't know what I'm talking about. She just glad that she got me a nice gift for Christmas that I really enjoy. You know, that's her thing. And then her other thing is spend too much money on comic books anyway. So if I can get you this, and I know they're cheaper, then there's more money for mama. So anyway, just going into, just showing you this artwork that's in here. And I remember reading those black and white pages when I was a kid, and it just didn't skip a beat. I was so excited. It was late last night. I got done my studio work, and I said, I'm just going to check this out. And I'm just looking at this, and I said, wow. First, when I got it, I said, it can't be no $1.99. So I didn't check my card that I had him pull it up, and I said, nah, ain't no $1.99. It's probably going to be more than that. I said, let me keep checking the card, because I'm at a tight budget this month. I had some things to take care of, so I got to watch what I buy. And I said $1.99. So I'm pulling it out. None of the pages are missing. Every course better not be. It's a digital copy. But everything is just very intact. Just what I remembered. Different shots in here, that I remembered happening. And I'm just enjoying it, like thoroughly enjoying it. So then they did the interviews. They got a couple of interviews in here with Chuck Norris, because he was real hot at the time, because he was in what's the movie, Return of the Dragon. It had a different name overseas, but it was right after Enter the Dragon. And you got to remember, this is the time period where all that stuff was out, Enter the Dragon and all that stuff, and the whole martial arts scene in the 70s was blowing up. So you get all of this stuff in this book, and as you're casually going through it, because I'm like, oh, I don't know if they missed anything. But nope, here goes that classic story. The classic story with the Sons of the Tiger, when they broke up and then White Tiger was born. This was the issue that had happened then. So I know to get this actual book from someone that is selling it is not going to be cheap, because it's a key issue. It's a definite. And guess who did the art in this? This was George Perez did this art. And I didn't realize it until, because as a kid, I liked this art, but I was so into the story, I didn't look. But George Perez did this art. And this is when the team got in a big argument over the girl. Two friends was fighting over the chick. It was some wild stuff. So, the whole team broke up. And, the two guys that were fighting over it, they got into a very bloody battle. That was like gratuitous for the 70s. Well, because it was in a magazine, it wasn't in regular comic book format, they took it a little further. Amazing art. You see George Perez is doing this thing. And I want to get you to that last classic page. Here it comes. Boom. First appearance of the White Tiger. And this is where I remember him from. The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, number 19. So, I didn't stop there. Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, number 20. Because I never got this one as a kid. And I wanted to read the rest of the story, because I didn't get it as a kid. So, let me adjust this table here, because my arms is running out of stuff to lean on. So, with that being said, I went in here. Great artwork. This is what I didn't read, but this is the part 2 of that Iron Fist story. And they have a character in here, a female, that he fights called Silver Tiger, and she takes Iron Fist down with a Hurricane Rana or something like that, or some kind of choke out hold. But this was like stuff. There she is. She's all up on his back. And I never read this one as a kid, because these books were $1 a piece. Now, back then, my allowance was $1. That's what I was getting. It was $1. So you get, back in those days, for $1, you get 4 comic books. Because 4 quarters, $1. They were 25 cents a piece. So, I wasn't messing with this too much unless somebody gave it to me, because I didn't get that much allowance. I wasn't working. I was too young. So I never got the second issue because I wasn't going to spend my whole allowance on one book, even though I wanted it. But when I'm grown now and, have income coming in from retirement and things of that nature, business and all that, I go online and get a book that will cost a whole lot of money for, I'm going to say it again, $1.99. You can't beat that. You get your Amazon account, go on there, and boom, you get the book. So what was it? I had Amazon, and it's regular like Amazon Prime, and then it's a reader Amazon, and I just go pick this up. So this is the second issue of the Sons of Tiger, White Tiger. So I actually, after I did that, look at him, he's getting ready to go into his first we call it a criminal takedown with a street gang. So after I got that, I started putting in my cart all the issues of it. So I'm going to be buying for $2. It's like going through this is like going through the dollar bin for me. Like, wow. But I'm doing it with a device. $2. I'm going to get the rest of these stories. I had to pull up because I wound up spending, let's say you're a tight budget, and spend like almost $50-$60 on it buying all these books, and I didn't want to do that. So I just left the budget small, got a couple of books, spent no more than $5, but this was cool because I got to do bronze shopping for very minimal. Sold this book years ago, and I have it in a one of those epic collections, and it's cool. But what I like about, because I love the cover, and Gladiator was my favorite Daredevil villain other than Bullseye. I like Gladiator because I thought he was so cool. I really thought I could take my dad's buzzsaw and make some wristbands and do this. Thank God I didn't do it. I'll be talking to you guys with one arm. But I was really into the Gladiator because I had seen him on a Marvel value stamp in a Spider-Man issue. And I had just like, wow, that's the coolest guy. He got metal, big muscles, and he got buzzsaws on his arms. So I always liked this cover, and I did sell this in a big bulk load a while ago. And sometimes you have to kind of just to make the money if you're trying to, do your comic business. A lot of times comics, when you sell them, it helps you keep the hobby going. This is a hobby that supports itself. So you can't necessarily get too caught up in it. But not only do I have this in the Daredevils Essentials, I have it in here. And the reason why I wanted it in here, let me get to the page. It's amazing art. This Bob Brown art. Bob Brown did a good job with Daredevil back in the 70s. It was sufficient. I was a fan of it. It fit his type of storyline. It was just enough, and it had that street look to it. So I kind of liked it. But that wasn't the main reason that I went on and got this book, even though I had it in the Essentials, to get this book again and buy it again. The main reason was I still have a affinity for these Marvel value stamp. So I thought that was cool. And then, of course, you're never supposed to cut them out anyway. As a kid, you cut it out, you ruin the book in the future. We didn't know that. But I always just like going to the letter page and seeing those value stamps. This one is Lilith. I think she was Dracula's daughter. Let me make sure. Yes, Dracula's daughter at the time, because Marvel was putting out the Tomb of Dracula. So they was doing very good with the horror genre and the kung fu genre. They was cashing in on the 70s. Plus they had black superheroes, so they was getting a little bit of the exploitation going on. But $1.99. And it got the ads in it and everything. So until a lot of these bronze books where I could physically afford copies, I'm going to be the ones that are bigger ones, not the ones that are maybe about $3 or $5. That's not a big deal. But the bigger ones that cost a little chunk of change, I'm going to go this direction. This was really, really lovely. So y'all going to be seeing more, but I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay, so this is my entire library of what I got so far on the Kindle as well. And this is an essential. So this has like a whole bunch of pages in it. I got that for really cheap. I think half the price of what I would pay for the essentials in the store. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. So, 3, 2, 1. Absolute Batman. Now I have the first issue in a paperback. I actually have it sitting over there. And I was trying to, I was like, it's not bad. It took me a while to get used to it. But I started reading this. They picked up the game in this one. So this was a little bit more than $1.99. This might have been, was it about $10? Might have been $10. I don't know. Something like that. It was very reasonable. It's less than if you bought the paperback, with the shipping and all that. But I started reading this book, and they picked up steam with this. In fact, I was starting to really enjoy it. Let me turn that ring light around here. Oh, I got a ring light coming from somewhere. So I'll put it on this side. So I started to really enjoy this story. It's like getting better. And I'm like, oh, all right. The new Absolute Mr. Freeze is different. Definitely different. And the way they did it, it was real slick. And then the Absolute Bane. I'm getting ready to get to this story right here. So I have to say that when I gotta get this right, there you go. The Absolute Batman run. I'm starting to enjoy that. It's been really cool, and I recommend reading it. It's a little different than the regular Batman. He's not rich. But he has, let's see, Alfred. Alfred's like working with him, and Alfred's like he's like a not super soldier. He's like a special forces soldier. Alfred be getting it in, and I think he has somebody. Well, of course, he has somebody making his weapons, but he doesn't have a ton of money. He's just a normal guy, just being a vigilante. And I'm reading a little deeper into it, how he's getting his weapons developed. But it's the way they're doing it. It's very, very earthy. It's more. It's like Batman mixed with a little bit more of Daredevil, I would say. More grittier. That's the new Mr. Freeze. Absolute Zero. I believe that's what they call it. So it's just been really a good book, and I've been reading this. This was way cheaper than buying the actual book, and it comes so quick. And I was one that said I didn't really want to get into digital books. I'd rather just had a hard copy. I've gotten creative since the comic book store closed, because with new books now, my man John, he'll get new books, but John generally deals with back issues. And I understand, because new books, they can cost. They get costly, and, they're shaky, but they're not really a good investment, because with the new readers, once something dies out, they don't want it no more. But some of them they do become valuable quickly. They're like stock. You got to know where to flip them. But the safe way to read them is like I'm doing right here. If you have a Kindle or a, what's the other one that I deal with? An iPad. So, you get them for a lot cheaper, comes a lot quicker, and there's no storage. You buy it, it's in the device. You don't have to put them nowhere. Now, I still like hard copy comic books. I still like them, and probably won't go away. But I know that honestly, everything I want to get, I can't always fit in spaces. Or some things that I might want to get, I'm not going to get, spend money on. If I like to buy two of everything. If I like it, I like to read it, and then I do like to flip, and put it out there for sale. But if it has no value, or if I read it and it's just like it doesn't even move me, then I'm stuck with a book that I can't sell. But here, they're so low, I don't really care. So I tried something out. If I don't like it, it's no big deal. But I'm enjoying this Absolute Batman Volume 2. And I even got to reading this far, but I'm really starting to like this. And I'm starting to really get into this whole Kindle device, as you can see. I went and sampled another edition of an epic collection of Amazing Spider-Man that I'm going to buy. And I haven't bought it yet, but they gave me a pretty big sample. And this is classic Steve Ditko Spider-Man stuff. So I'll be getting that on here too. Could buy the regular hard copy, but I'm running out of room. I gotta sell some books because I have music equipment in here and I can't put all that in here. I can't get around. And my wife told me that you can't take over the whole house with comic books and music equipment. So I gotta keep my space limited, until I get into getting a storage. So that's the stuff I wanted to share with you guys from my Kindle device. Now, something else I got into, this is hard copy stuff. This is actually Batman Arkham Knights, Batman Detective Comics Arkham Knights. This is the undercover. And I like the undercover regular than the regular cover. And I've been reading this. This story is very, very good. It's getting very interesting. Great art in this story. I'm enjoying it. Because it's getting into actually settling down and reading books instead of just flipping them right away. Starting to enjoy doing this. So I've been getting into this. And I started to read Battle Beast. I like this too. If I didn't have so much music production to be done, I would have books done. So I started getting into this, which is cool. This is an Image comic book. It's from the Invincible universe. Another Batman book that I pulled out of the archives in the garage. Volume 4 of the Wraith. Detective Comics. And of course, this is amazing art in here. I'll be reading this. I like these Batman graphic novels. I'm a fan of them. Because I don't have the like a comic book shop. I gotta wait until my man John buys a collection to get these kind of things. And you might get them all in one run, you might not. But here I can get it all in one run. Okay. And the other one I'm gonna get into in here, I just be finding my books. Since this week was a little tight, I said, I'll get stuff on the Kindle. But I got Batman Detective Comics. This is Volume 3 with the Emperor Penguin. So I've been wanting to read this. I just put them away because I'm doing so much stuff with music. Sometimes I don't have the time. But this amazing artwork. And it's by Jonathan Lehman, Jason Fabak, and Andy Clark. So get into that. And so there's one more thing that I pulled out, and I want to give John props. This is an independent book, and I read this. This is actually pretty decent. I'm going to follow the artist. This is Southside Nefertiti, and it's a female. It's an independent release, and she's like gang members. I think she's battling gang members, and they all got like these heightened powers and stuff. I like stuff like that. So started to get into this too. So those are my particular books I'm getting into. I still have a whole haul of stuff out in the garage that I have to sort out, because now I got about 2 boxes in here, comics, and I got a bunch of boxes out there. I tried to open up my eBay store again, but what's wound up happening is I still got so much to sort through to sell, and what I'm going to keep, because I got a lot of doubles of stuff. The next time we get together, I'll be showing you more Kindle purchases and some hard copy stuff. So until then, this is Mike Downing from BEARPOP Comics. And I'm going to hold up my favorite comic art for the day. And I want you to enjoy your weekend. Hey, get out here, enjoy this warm weather. We start to get some warm weather. And read some good comics. Kickbackmusic.com.
Welcome to the sound.